Hey guys, I thought I'd do today's vlog from inside the car for change of scenery. I am parked in my driveway and my dad's probably going to come out and be like, "What's wrong?" But I just got back from dropping off Aiden at daycare. It took a lot of convincing to get him to go because Link is homesick today. I was really hoping to be able to have one day of uninterrupted ability to work on things. Luckily, Link is a lot easier than Aiden, except when he's really, really sick. But I don't think he's really, really sick. He just has a fever and says his throat hurts. But other than that, he's playing, video games and drinking tea and stuff like that, so I'm not too worried. Aiden's a lot more difficult when he's sick, and I think it's just whatever Aiden had last weekend, so I don't think it'll stick around for too long. And I was more upset because tomorrow was going to be Link's first ever field trip. They were going to go to some local farm and learn how to feed the chickens and how to muck out, well, I don't know if they're going to muck out stables, but farm duties. And they were going to do it, and then finally they were like, okay, we're canceling. It's raining too hard. And it just stopped. It let up a little bit, like literally a couple minutes ago. But all morning it has been pouring torrential rains, not flooding level rains, but and as far as I understand, flooding is less common in areas that get a lot of rain because the ground soaks it up more. Areas that are very dry, the water doesn't really soak up. Which is funny because I can see that when I water the aloe plants in my hognoses cage versus the plants in my terrarium that I think still has a hermit crab in it. I haven't seen the hermit crab in a week. I still put food in there and change out the water and everything, but yeah, I haven't seen him in the week, so maybe he died, I don't know. And I'll pour the water in the snake cage and it'll just pool up. It won't really go into the soil for a long time, but then in the temperate one, it just soaks right into the ground, so it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, so they canceled it, which means I can keep Link home tomorrow without feeling bad. But anyway, so it's funny that this is happening where Link is home once again. I'm watching sick kids, because last night it wasn't even really a fight. It was more just like a single sharp comment, but it pissed me off, so I was in a bad mood for the rest of the evening. And let me prerequisite, every time I shit talk my husband or whatever, people are like, "Oh my god, he's gonna find out and freak out." My husband does not give a shit if I complain about him or not. I've talked to him about it multiple times, and he basically just, it's not so much that he's laid back, it's that if it doesn't register within his emotional awareness, it just doesn't exist. And that is also relevant to this conversation because what I was thinking about as I was driving home is the concept of emotional labor or invisible labor. They're kind of the same, they're kind of different. Some people use them interchangeably. My definition for them is that emotional labor is more emotional. It's being the one that, your husband comes home from work and is all pissed at work, and you have to just listen through it and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, honey." Or, stress with his coworkers, stress with his friends or whatever. And it's not, only the guy. And there's also gay couples and poly couples and everything like that are going to have a different dynamic. But I think this happens a lot in basically every relationship. But it does tend to fall mostly on women. For one thing, not so much with my husband because he doesn't really have a lot of guy friends anyway, except for, people at work. But for so many guys, it's considered shameful to talk about your emotions to each other. So it's they bottle it all up for when they get home and talk to their wife or whatever. So that's what I think emotional labor is more. And invisible labor is more all the stuff that goes on to keep things from falling apart, but aren't visibly, you don't just notice it, that they notice it when it doesn't happen. And that's the thing. It's stuff that they take for granted And then when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, you're slacking off. And that is like cleaning house, doing dishes. It's also, you know, making appointments, being on the phone, yelling at the fucking health insurance because they're still not paying for Link's PCP visit in January. Like, I've had to be on the phone with both the insurance and the clinic hours over the last couple months dealing with this, and it's still a problem. Remembering, like, you know, arranging play dates, remembering important dates, or just like setting stuff up, making sure that, you know, the kids have their lunches made if they, I mean, they serve food at Link's school, but, you know, a lot of schools don't, and so you have to make their lunch every day, and getting them to school on time, and picking them up, and getting them to sports, or whatever, you know, all these things that predominantly men in relationships just don't even think of, you know, just, it doesn't, it's like, oh, that's the wife's job. Oh, she's better at it. You hear that a lot, and it's like, it's such a dumb excuse, because it's like, it's not rocket science to remember, you know, to call the doctor and arrange a visit, or the dentist, and then, you know, take the kid there or whatever. And yet there's such a pervasive attitude of like, oh, women are better at it. And it's just, it's bullshit. It's an excuse. And what triggered me last night is that Matthew gets up early for his real job. And I tend to get up like half hour to an hour later, on the days that the kids let me. So he gets up at like 5:30, I get up at 7. And he has resentment that I sleep in a little bit. And it's like, okay, we both have jobs. You get paid for yours. I don't get paid for mine, but we both have jobs. And, you know, for me especially, I am a content creator. I put so much time into recording and editing and uploading, and unfortunately dealing with fucking censors. So like, you know, I do a topless video, and then I have to make the Handmaid's Tale version, and I have to make all these different versions on all these different websites. And that, in addition to cleaning house and taking care of the kids. And I mean, even with Link at school and Aiden in daycare, except for days today, like, you know, all week, at least one kid has been homesick. You know, in addition to that, and in addition, yeah, like I said, keeping the house clean, like the days go by like that, and my task list never seems to get smaller. And it's so frustrating because I'm doing all this stuff behind the scenes. I don't get paid for my fucking content creation. I keep trying to set up different things to like have a little bit of income, like, you know, the selling photos or whatever. But then I get shit like Stripe banning my account, so I can't even use them on an audio-only podcast, because anywhere on the internet I have female nipples. Again, if you want the details of that, go to toplesstopics.org/FKStripe. I didn't put fuck in it because I don't want, like, algorithms or whatever to refuse to show it. So it's FKStripe. But yeah, so I'm dealing with all this stuff, and he is tired in the evening, and, you know, we get the kids to bed at like 9. Some nights it takes a lot longer because Aiden, like I mentioned, has this thing where he's like, I'm scared, the dark, blah, 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 and it's just fucking nightmare to deal with. And so, you know, we put him to bed, and then I'm like, can we watch like one episode of a show before you go to bed? And Matthew's like, I'm tired. And so I'm like, okay. But for some reason, he like felt like I was attacking him. And so he's just like, you know, I'm tired. And, you know, the deal was that when Aiden is in daycare or whatever, you're going to do more housework. And it's like, okay, first of all, I do more housework. The fucking list of doing housework never fucking ends because no one fucking helps me with it. And the other part of it is that my dad is paying for the daycare. Like, I have not asked my husband for any money for anything for months, if not like a year. I've just been using, you know, what's left of my mom's life insurance to pay for like the copay for the doctor and stuff. And in fact, I sent the money from the tax return to Matthew. So I've been paying Matthew. But, you know, even if he was paying for daycare, like, I'm not sitting at home playing video games. Like, I don't watch things, I don't play games unless he's home. And it's frustrating too, because if I try to continue with my tasks, like finish editing a video or something when he's home, he gets pissy about it. He's like, I want to play a video game. I want you to play a video game with me, or something like that. And it's just like, okay, so dude, you get mad if I do stuff like edit video while you're gone, but you get mad if I do something in a video when you're home. And again, I've mentioned this in other videos. I think it's an autism thing, because making videos is not important to him. And on the surface, he understands that it's important to me, but because it's not important to him, he's like, you know, why do you spend time doing this? Like, you're not getting paid for it. You're not, you know, you're getting stressed out dealing with the censorship and stuff. So why do you do it? And it's like, for me, it's fulfilling. For me, it's socialization. It's talking to my, you know, my regular followers who I consider friends. It's my version of therapy, doing videos like this. So to me, it is, you know, and I am trying to change things. I am trying to normalize topless equality. You know, I do think it would be great for us to all be able to go non-sexually naked places as well. But, you know, my main focus is having the same fucking rights as men. And so I have all these things going on that, you know, that this is important to me, but it's not important to him. So to him, it's a waste of time. So anyway, it's just, guys out there, you know, especially those of you in a relationship, but, you know, you can work on this even when you're not in a relationship. Try to be more aware of what goes on in the background that you're not aware of, and appreciate it. Go beyond the surface level of being like, well, I'm a feminist, I believe in gender equality, but I still want my wife to do all this shit that I don't want to do because I'm tired from work. You don't think she's tired too? But it still has to get done. Yeah, the other thing that, you know, like, there's all these articles all over the place about emotional labor or whatever that, like, talk about what goes on and, like, maybe open some eyes. A lot of them also, like, offer solutions, like, write down the chores and divvy them up. And it's like, yeah, that makes your husband pissy. You start doing that. They're just like, well, I'm working my real job. Why do I have to wash the dishes? Yeah. Not all husbands, but a fucking lot of them. But the other thing that's super frustrating is a lot of times the guys, the men, will be like, you know, if you want me to help with something, just ask. And it's like, that's still emotional labor, because you're making me your fucking boss. You're making me the task assigner. And it's like, I was reading an article last night where it was like, you know, if someone acted like that at a job, where they were like, they only did tasks if they were told, do this task, they'd be fired. Why are you treating your wives like that? Why are you like, you know, oh, she needs to tell me to do the garbage or I won't think of it. Try to fucking think about it. Make a list for yourself and look at the goddamn list and just be like, okay, this needs to get done. Try to be more aware of the stuff that needs to get done, and don't just like, oh, well, I wasn't told to do something, so I guess, you know, she'll take care of it, or it'll just magically be done. Matthew has been helping with laundry more. For some reason, he's weird about me. He doesn't want to put my stuff away because he says I do it in a weird way, and it's like, no, I don't. I hang my shirts up in the closet and I fold my pants in the drawers. But I'm just like, okay, whatever. He's been helping with his and the kids' laundry. Of course, he doesn't do it the same way I do it. Like, he doesn't separate the kids' clothing by size. So when I'm picking out clothes for the kids, because I'm always the one that has to pick out outfits, I have to like sort, you know, I have to pull them all out and be like, okay, this one's actually, you know, small enough for Aiden, this one's big enough for Link. If they try to dress themselves, then they get like pajamas or they get clothes that are too small or whatever. So I end up doing it. So like, he doesn't separate them by size, and he doesn't separate them by like warm versus cold weather. So again, it's not just a like persnickety thing. It's like, I have to go through the whole drawer to find weather appropriate and size appropriate clothing. But you know, I'm not saying anything because it's like, well, he's kind of helping, you know, so I appreciate that. And like, he will occasionally just get in a mood where it's like, let's clean. and he'll be pissy about it. But he's more of a neat freak than I am. I mean, like, obviously I don't like having garbage around and stuff, but like he's very like, if there's stuff on a table, it really bothers him. And it's like a lot of the times I have stuff on the table is because either I don't have the energy to go through it, or I haven't really been able to make a place for it, or it's just like the kids are always leaving shit everywhere. And sometimes, sometimes I want to pick their toy up and go all the way to the room. Sometimes I want to pick their toy up and just put it on the table so the dog doesn't eat it. And then, later on, I'm like, guys, take your toys back. But, again, I'm the taskmaster. I'm the one that has to be like, husband, do this. Child, do this. And then, of course, all of them fight me on it. The kids more so, but, yeah. Anyway, it's just kind of frustrating because I also feel like I fight a lot with the guilt of like, okay, I'm not bringing in money, and especially now, like, Aiden's in daycare, so why is the house not spotless? But then again, it's like, again, I have shit that's important to me. And I just, honestly, it's like physically impossible to get everything done all the time, every day. And again, if I work on that stuff when he's home, he's like, oh, you won't play a game with me. Or like, occasionally he'll get really into a TV show and he'll want to watch it. And if I don't want to watch it, he'll watch the whole thing without me. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that was on my mind. He like made a sharp comment and he gets like mad like that. And it's so weird watching his face because he'll be like, oh, jovial. And then he'll just be like, you said, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Allegedly he got over it right away, but I was not happy. And I was just like, holding my tongue because he's never wrong. And so, anytime there's something that upsets me, I just have to swallow it down and then bitch about it in vlogs, because if I try to bring it up to him, he's never wrong. So it just becomes a fight that doesn't accomplish anything and just makes us both upset. So better that only I'm upset, I guess. I don't know. And yet at the same time, he's much better than a lot of husbands. Like, I have a neighbor who, I'm not going to go into detail, but is having a really difficult time with her asshole husband, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And, I hear about that, and it's like, okay, I have no room to complain because my husband isn't doing all this heinous shit. He's just fucking annoying the fuck out of me and not valuing what I value. Which, even if something's not important to you, if you love someone and it's important to them, try to understand that it's important to them, and like, don't be pissy about it when they want to work on the thing. Yeah. So that's that. Like I said, I'm sitting in my car and my dad's probably like, why isn't she coming inside? So I better go inside, make sure Link eats something, and maybe try to get something done, as long as he's happy watching TV. I'm going to spend a lot of time today cleaning house because it keeps the peace. My dad would always say that growing up because my mom was a tyrant and would just be like, whatever keeps the peace. And it was like, I'm not going to live my life in fear of my husband, being in a bad mood. And it's like, whoops. The stereotype is girls marry their dad. It looks like I married my mom, which is fraught. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go in and try to get some stuff done. And hey, I'm under half an hour with this vlog. And yeah, if you want to help me out, then as always, like and share. I don't really care about sharing these vlogs. Honestly, these vlogs are mostly for me and for my, the followers that seem to care about me for some reason and who I care about. And, I want to hear about your lives too. So, I really encourage people to join our Discord chat, because then we can all talk to each other. If you won't do that, you can talk to me on Twitter. Although with Elon fucking Musk taking over Twitter, I dreamt I got verified last night. I forgot about that. I dreamt that I woke up and all of a sudden I had a blue check mark by my name, and I was like, whoa, Because I have applied for a blue check mark like a long time ago because, surprise, my Twitter name is Topless Topics. I'm the sole founder of Topless Topics. I do all the stuff for Topless Topics. You know, I should get verified, but because I'm considered a sex worker, even though I'm not, can't get verified. So, fucking Twitter. Whatever, it's just a stupid blue check. It doesn't mean anything. People tend to be like, oh, they have a blue check, therefore they're, you know, more of an authority on blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Everyone's shit stinks. Even celebrities and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a tangent. All right, I'm going to go. Bye-bye.